Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Maryland Almanac. It's safe to say that the hottest parts of summer are behind us, and I've spent the last few months experimenting. I've been trying to keep my home as cool as possible without AC, so this video is going to be going over what worked, what didn't, and what I learned along the way. I want to start by saying that I am not doing this to save electricity. I'm not doing this to save money or the environment, though I imagine many people watching this video will be, and that's completely fine. I'm doing this because I'm curious. Most people have access to AC in Maryland nowadays, but that wasn't always the case. What was life like before air conditioning? What culture and tradition arose out of a need to keep cool in the summer months, and how do they still influence us today? I wanted to know, and I wanted to learn by experience, so let's begin. Keeping your home cool during the summer revolves around letting cool air in, usually at night, and preventing it from heating up. So, just open your windows at night before you go to bed and close them first thing in the morning, within 1 hour of sunrise. This is pretty much the only thing that you can do that will actively cool your house. If you do something to heat it up, like leave a window open or turn on the oven, your home will remain hot until sundown. This means that your activities are centered around preventing the home from warming up rather than trying to cool it down. So first, let's talk about some physical changes that you'll make to your home to prevent it from heating up. In addition to making sure that your insulation is good, you'll need to prevent direct sunlight from getting in. I know that natural light is very in style these days, but it's going to really heat up your home and make your AC work overtime. Trees are the best option for providing shade, but they're kind of a long-term investment if you don't already have them. Other ways to block direct sunlight would be curtains, awnings, blinds, or even shutters. And then finally, replace your incandescent lights. They aren't kidding when they talk about how much energy those things lose to heat. They could easily heat up my room 5 degrees. So second, I want to talk about clothing. When I first started this, I saw a lot of videos about how linen was a natural summer fabric, so I bought a bunch of basic white linen t-shirts and some underwear. And they did not really help me cool down, which kind of makes sense, right? Linens are supposed to be breathable, but indoors there's not much of a breeze. They're also really crinkly, so they don't look that good if you wear them outside. Personally, I wear them as undershirts when I go to work, and I found that they deal with sweat pretty well. They're a lot rougher than cotton, so they wipe away grime on the skin a lot easier, where cotton tends to just get kind of clammy and damp. Clothing won't have that much of an effect if you wear it indoors, but if you're like me and you wear business casual to work and you might want to take a walk around the building or something during lunch, it can definitely help a lot outdoors. So finally, let's talk about changes that you would make to your everyday life. Hot showers, hair dryers, irons, ovens, computers all generate heat. So the use of these need to be pushed back as far in the day as possible, ideally after dusk. That's kind of a tall order when the sun sets at 9. So you might want to make compromises or even just kind of give up a few of these activities on any given day, like taking lukewarm or cool showers, cooking a meal that doesn't involve heat, not playing video games, like you get the idea. I think that this will be the hardest step for many people. It was definitely the hardest for me. But because I work a 9 to 5, by the time I get home, it's only like a few hours until sundown. So if I just heat up my home a little bit by doing some of these activities, it's not the end of the world. And all of that is really the basics of how to live without AC use. But what was my experience actually like? Well, I didn't think it was that bad or even that difficult, right? It's pretty simple. Open your doors and windows at night, close them in the morning, put down the blinds, limit your activities that generate heat. As long as I made a decent effort to keep cool, my apartment never got that hot. Even on days where I made a mistake and did something like forget to close my windows, my apartment would never get dangerously warm. However, if I was exerting myself outside, I couldn't rely on going back to my apartment to cool me down. So if I was doing something outside, I would need to leave on the AC so I could make sure that I could cool down when I came back. Otherwise, I'd be running the risk of overheating. The hardest thing for me was changing my habits. Since I like to get up early, I naturally want to do my chores in the morning. but I need to put them off until after work or else my house will heat up. But since I go to bed so early, I don't have much of a time to do them, especially when it comes to making cold dinners. Like I was imagining something like a Mediterranean salad every night, but what I ended up doing was frozen peas and like a PB&J, since all these good meals just take so long to make. In that regards, I kind of ended up just biting the bullet and using my oven and stove to cook dinner and deal with the added heat. Again, it was never unlivable or dangerous, but it did make me realize how important heat is to human cooking. Things like barbecues and campfire roasts, they're not just there to enjoy the warmer weather outside, they're there to make cooking easier without heating up the house. It also had kind of a weird effect of making me more on top of my chores since I'm putting so much thought into when I was going to do them. So, would I recommend trying to go without AC? Not really, actually. So, barring a lot of the safety concerns if you're older or if you have some sort of chronic illness, it just wasn't very comfortable. It was never dangerously warm, but even being uncomfortably warm can impact your life in a lot of really negative ways. If you want to clean up your room or get a head start on your chores, it can be very difficult to do those things if it's in the upper 70s to lower 80s in your apartment. I also imagine that if I had been doing this for many, many years, I would run into issues with humidity and degrading the wood in my apartment. There might be problems with food going bad really fast. That was something that I encountered. So it's more trouble than it's worth. But if you want to try it out for just like a week to see how your ancestors may have lived, how they would have dealt with heat, that sure be my guess. Like, I think it was fun, but it's not something that I'm going to do again. So that's everything in the video. It was kind of rambling towards the end, but was it helpful? Did you learn something? Are you going to try and incorporate these things in tandem with your AC to help you cool down? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.